a little bit as I'm working on folding up fat quarters. It is advent calendar season. We're working to get those advent calendars shipped out next week. And there is so much involved in getting them shipped out. And one of the things is getting all of the fabric kits made for everyone who ordered the fabric kits. So that'd be either the half yard bundles or the fat quarter bundles. And so I have to fold all the fat quarters and then all the half yards and get those all packaged up and ready to go for everyone who ordered these. So I thought I would hop on live, hang out, get these folded, answer any questions while I'm getting these all prepped. It is a ton of work, and I was doing a count because I thought, well, if I just get all the ones that are already sold prepped, by the way, as you're popping in, let me know where you're popping in from. But I thought, okay, if I just get the ones that are already sold, folded, and then I can deal with the other ones later, I realized that they're basically all sold. There's like 12 fat quarter bundles that aren't sold, but other than that, all this fabric is sold. I'm hoping that when I do a final count, I might have some extra half yards that I can add to the half yard bundle packs. And then we'll have a couple extra half yard bundles to sell. But basically for Advent, all of it's sold. I went to Art Gallery Fabrics to just go ahead and order a couple more bolts of each of these fabrics. And I thought, okay, we'll just order some more fabric and make some more. But no, 2 of these prints are sold out at Art Gallery Fabrics, and they're not going to get them back in time. So this is it for the bundles. So everyone who pre-ordered their fabric bundles, you're it. And anyone who didn't, snag those couple of quarter yards and then check at the end of the day today to see if I add those half yards if there's any left over. But yeah, so we are folding fat quarters. Tell me where you're popping in from. Hi, Australia. Hi, St. Louis. Welcome, welcome. By the way, this is one of the 2 fabrics that sold out on the Art Gallery Fabric site, which does not surprise me. This was like a recolorization of one. This is the Christmas in the Cabin line, and this same print was part of Christmas in the City, but like in slightly different colors. And I'm pretty sure it sold out then too. It's super cute, so it does not surprise me at all. And so I thought about, well, I mean, I could do a second version of the bundles. I could pick 2 other fabrics, and so it wouldn't be exactly the same. So I might do that. I might order 2 replacement fabrics instead, so that way people would still have pretty close, but it wouldn't be exact because sold out. Yep. Hi, Michigan. Hi, Texas. Hi, Connecticut. Hi, Tulsa. Welcome, welcome. So I'm getting these cut. So fat quarters, if you're not familiar with fabric, is a half yard that is cut on the fold to make a quarter yard. But instead of being a long, skinny quarter yard, it's wider. So it's like you take a quarter yard and you cut it in half and you stick the top half next to it so it's fatter. And it's one big piece. So it's still the same amount of like square inches, but it's a fat quarter instead of a skinny quarter. And that gets you really kind of more usable fabric, because a regular quarter yard would be 8 inches. Hold on. No, I'm doing that wrong. 32. Hold on. A yard is 36 inches. So a half yard is 18 inches. So a quarter yard is 9 inches. There we go. So yeah, you get 9 by 40, and this gets you 18 by 20. So if you wanted to cut like a 10-inch piece, you couldn't do that from a quarter yard, but you absolutely can from a fat quarter. In fact, you could get 2 10-inch squares from a fat quarter and then have some fabric left over. I'm not trans, but thanks. Just a quilter. Yeah, I'm not sure quite where you got that, but thanks anyway. Oh no, why is this not cutting right? There we go. There we go. I'm just not made up today, but thanks. It's a Sunday, and when I come in on the weekends, if I don't have, like, well, just generally speaking, if I don't have to film video, I usually am just me on camera. All right. You. All right. All right. We've gotten rid of that person. Don't know who that is, but okay. All right. I don't know. That was weird. I don't think I've ever had a spammer on here before. Strange. Strange. All right. Normally when I respond to YouTube comments, I get to sit and think for a minute. Live is a little different, so that was fun. Anyway, hop in with where you are from, and what you're working on today, if you're working on any sewing projects. I'm going to be folding these fat quarters as soon as I get them all cut. I think the bottom two are already cut, but these ones, I was just counting them out to make sure I had enough. So I went ahead and counted out all the fat quarters, and then these are going to stay as half yards and just get folded as half yards. So what's everyone working on today? Hi, Annette. Welcome. Welcome. What part of California are you in, Annette? So I'm down in San Diego. We are having beautiful weather. So I have the window open. I've got this gorgeous view of the mountain. So I get to see the mountain. Let's see. Hi, North Carolina. Can anyone suggest where I can find a Hanukkah quilt pattern? I want to make one for a friend. That is a great question. Have you tried just Googling Hanukkah quilt pattern? And then also spelling Hanukkah in different ways, like both with an H and then also with a C. That might get you different results because the English alphabet is a little different, and so it can be spelled either way. I would try both and seeing what comes up that way. I'm not familiar with any Hanukkah patterns. But if anyone else wants to chime in for Betsy, and if you have a good Hanukkah quilt pattern, working on a duffel bag in Livermore. I used to live up in that area. Yeah, there isn't a ton out there that I've seen. But I think that's probably a couple reasons. First, like, I'm not a celebrator of Hanukkah, so it would be odd for me to make a Hanukkah quilt pattern. I would feel weird doing that. Like, that's not my space to play in. So it'd have to be someone who celebrates Hanukkah, who that's part of their tradition. Sorry, my brain's like all over the place tonight, or today, this afternoon, whatever it is. And then if it doesn't sell very well, then even someone who that is their tradition and is something that they celebrate, might be less likely to take the time to make one if it's something that doesn't sell very well, because it takes a lot of time to design a quilt pattern, and then it's expensive to make the sample and have it tested and then market it. And then if it doesn't sell well, then you're better off just making, like, you know, another Hearts and Stars quilt. So yeah. Hi, so Francie. Glad you hopped on live. Oh, Robert has a great idea. There is Hanukkah fabric, and you can use Hanukkah fabric with whatever pattern you want. So you could do like a really simple like square in a square quilt, or star quilt, or although I guess it'd be weird because you'd want a 6-pointed star. But you could do something like simple, like a square in a square, or any kind of like strip piece quilt, half square triangle quilt made with Hanukkah fabric. And then it's a Hanukkah quilt because it's made with Hanukkah fabric. So that's good. That's an idea. Might be easier. Hi, Annette. I'm so glad you ordered your calendars. Okay, so for those of y'all who were off doing other things this week, November 1st, I launched the 2025 block of the month. I'm so excited. It's so good. I still have to cut the kits for that once I'm done getting all the kits done for the Advent, because the Advent needs to go out this week because I promised it would. And it's been a lot of work. All of the pieces are in their envelopes, and now all the envelopes need to get put in their zippered bags, and then the zipper bags need to get wrapped, and then they need to get put in packing, and then they actually get to ship out. So it's still a lot of steps before we get the Advent calendars ready to go out. So it will not be a Monday, because Monday's tomorrow. They won't be shipping out tomorrow, but soon, by the end of the week, we should have all the ones that have been ordered out the door. And I'm so excited. Because then I'll get my living room back, because we work on that in the living room, putting those together while watching movies or TV shows. I was finishing up the last of those envelopes this morning while watching Shark Tank. So yeah. Larger glow rulers. So we're working on it. It looks like March. So I know March feels like a really, really far away, but we've got one more round of samples that we're going through, and then it looks like we should be able to have them by March for the 12.5-inch squares. Welcome, Jennifer from Texas. So we're working on it. It's a lot, and it's just me. It really is just me. Well, although like all this fabric was cut into half yards by my husband, so he does help out. And he did a lot of the stuffing things into envelopes for Advent calendars. So especially around Advent season, he comes and helps out. Yesterday, he and I were both at different tables in the living room getting all those Advent envelopes stuffed up. So yes, I know it's been a wait, but making sure that we've got everything perfect in stock and that I'm super happy with it before we go to the next. Okay. All right. All right, so all these are cut, and now I actually get to start folding. So much fabric to fold. I don't know that I'm going to be live the entire time that I fold all this. At some point, I'll probably pick an audiobook and put in some earbuds. But I'm hoping to get through at least the fat quarters today. If not, start moving on those half yards. Because it is a bunch. Anyway, so we were talking block of the month calendar. So the block of the month calendar launched on the 1st. It is the 2025 block of the month. So this is the 3rd year that we're doing a block of the month, and we're doing it a little different this year. So every year there's a theme. The first year it was the 4-patch block of the month, which was 2 years ago. This year, I guess, I was saying last year because it launched last year, but this year was the 9-patch block of the month. And then I didn't want to do like a 36-patch or anything like that. So it was actually on one of these lives that someone suggested a half square triangle block of the month. And I was so excited by that for a couple reasons. First of all, half square triangles are fun, and I thought that was a great theme. And then also because I've been wanting to do more videos on half square triangles. Half square triangles are like the building block in quilting, like squares and half square triangles. You can really make so many quilts with just those two. So yeah, super fun. And so I decided that I would make the quilt twice. So the first of the month, every month here on YouTube, will be a video, just like we have the past 2 years, where it's a video showing you how to make the whole quilt, just following the pattern instructions. And then on the second of the month will be a bonus video, so second video, making the same block that I did the first of the month, but using a different method for half square triangles. So I picked some of my favorite half square triangle methods, and then I found a bunch that I actually hadn't played with before, but I'd been wanting to. And so I made 12 videos on different methods to make half square triangles. Now, all the videos for the first of the month have already been filmed, have already been edited, and have already been scheduled. So those are all ready to go for the first of the month. And the QR codes for each of those videos is in the calendar. So starting the first of each month, when you flip that page, you can scan the QR code and watch the video, and it'll be really easy for you to find. So that way, if you're making your block 6 months later, you don't have to come here to the YouTube channel and try to dig through or find the playlist. It makes it super easy for you to find that video. And then the videos for the second of the month will be in the same playlist, and the QR code to the playlist is on the back of the calendar. But those have been filmed, but I haven't edited them yet. So they've been filmed. I still need to edit them and then get those scheduled for next year. But I'm so excited to be ahead of the game, because it means, y'all, that I have 13 videos for 2025 already scheduled, already ready to go in 2025. And I feel so ahead of the game, which, I mean, I'm sitting here folding fabric that's going to be shipping out next week. So normally I'm just trying to get it all done, and having those done ahead makes future me super, super, super happy. You fold the same way. I used to work in a quilt shop. I did the marketing and special events. So I didn't usually fold fat quarters, but sometimes we'd be short staffed at the front of the store. And so they'd ask me to hang out at the front of the store just to keep to be a human up there, run a register if someone needed, answer questions if someone needed. And when there wasn't anyone who needed, I would just sit there and I would fold fat quarters. And it is a really relaxing way to spend an afternoon, to just stand here and fold some fat quarters. And it's mindless work. Just boom, 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 fold, fold, fold. Hi, Susie. You missed how I cut these. It's pretty simple. You just take the half yards, and the half yards were already cut. My husband cut them all for me ahead of time. And I just cut along the fold to turn it into a quarter yard, a fat quarter. And now I'm just folding them to get them all packaged up. And I have to go through this whole stack, and then one of each. So there's 8 different fabrics. One of each will get put together into bundles, and then those will get bundled up. And basically all these are going to ship out next week. They're all, all this fabric is all already sold. Y'all are incredible. I thought I was over ordering. In fact, I ordered ahead of time, and then I saw how much was getting sold. So I ordered more. This is 2 orders worth of fabric. And I still don't have enough. I still under ordered. Can't believe I underestimated by a lot. So apologies to anyone who's ordering their Advent after the fact and wants a fat quarter bundle to go with it. I won't have it unless, all right, let me know what y'all think, because I'm thinking out loud. 6 of these fat quarters are still available. Art Gallery Fabrics has them. 2 are not. So I could replace those 2 with other 2 and be very clear on the site and say this is a different version of the fat quarter bundle. Take a different photo, explain it, show that it is different and what the substitutions are, so that people know, because I definitely don't want to try to trick anyone. It's with fabric. That's not nice. But that way people still have a plan B, and it's better than nothing. Let me know what you think. Is 6 plus 2 replacements better than not being able to get it at all? Or would you rather have the right fat quarter bundle that I'm using in all the videos, or nothing? Welcome Martha from Rockport. Cool, Colorado. Welcome, Stacy. Francie, I would love some help. Sometimes I'm able to call in family members and have them help, but also sometimes it's just nice to be in the nice and quiet. So sometimes it's just nice. Yeah. And y'all are helping me by just coming and hanging out and enjoying the chit chat. So let me know what y'all are working on, what you have planned for the week. My week is basically going to be shipping like a madwoman, getting everything packed up and shipped out to get Advents sent to everyone in plenty of time for December 1st, and having them prep for people who are doing their orders a little later and still getting those in to them hopefully by December 1st. But especially for the folks international, we have Canada and then usually some Australia orders, and I want to make sure that everything gets out and over borders and ponds and oceans in time for them to be able to enjoy opening their Advents on December 1st. And I have actually been having fun ordering some Advents. I was talking about it a little bit on Threads, which is that new app that's like kind of like, it's part of like Instagram, but it's like Twitter. So it's like really kind of text only, or mostly text. I've been enjoying it because it's like a story-based app and I love telling stories. And it's been, anyway, I was on there and I was talking about how I'd ordered Advent calendars because I've been doing an Advent calendar. This is year 4. I've got next year's planned already and it's going to be year 5. Next year's also going to be really good. And I designed this Advent calendar to be the kind of Advent calendar that quilters really want. It is 12 days, or you can get 24 days. So depending on what your budget is, I keep the 12 days under $100 because I want it to be affordable for quilters. You can buy the fabric that I'm using, or you can absolutely use your own fabric, which also gives you options. Because there's lots of different Advent calendars out there. Like there's fabric Advent calendars where every day you get a fat quarter. But I like picking my own fabrics. And also I only use art gallery fabrics. So to get fat quarters of fabric that is not my flavor or that I'm not going to use is a bummer. So the fabric Advent calendars aren't really my jam. And then there's a lot of like the kind of cheap, the ones where, you know, you get a metal thimble or a needle threader, or like a really cheap pair of thread snips. Those are sad to me because like I waited, this was my present for the day and this is what you gave me. So my Advent calendar is every day. There's an envelope, and in the envelope is an acrylic template that is your acrylic template to keep for years and years and years, and you can use it for whatever you want in the future. So it's an acrylic template and a pattern, and the pattern uses that acrylic template and possibly the acrylic templates from future or from previous days in the Advent to make a little quilt block. And at the end, you take all the quilt blocks that you made during the Advent calendar, you take them, put them all together, and you make a mini quilt. And so it's called the Mini Quilt Advent. And it's super fun. The first year that I did it was with 3-inch finished squares and then 6-inch finished squares. Last year was 6-inch finished diamonds, and this year is 4x6 finished rectangles. So always something fun and different. Every year is a little different, and every year it's new blocks and new templates, and every year the templates are also a different color, so that's super fun. So that was the Advent that I designed, and I started it 4 years ago. It was, I think it's like 5 years ago that I really started working with someone to develop it. And it's super fun. I love doing it. It's so much work in September and October to get it off the ground and get it going. But we really do enjoy it. And I get so much great feedback on it. So we're going to keep doing it. But it's been years since I've bought other Advent calendars. So I was asking around, and I've bought a bunch of different Advent calendars other quilty advent calendars to see what else is out there. So it's a little bit like market research to see what everyone else is doing in terms of advent calendars, but also a little fun for me to hopefully get some fun treats. And I thought I would come on here live in December and open those up so everyone can enjoy them with me and see what other kinds of advent calendars are out there. Okay. Let's see. Comments. This line is Art Gallery Fabrics Christmas in the Cabin. This is this year's 2024's Christmas line. Thanks, Robert. I just use all Art Gallery fabrics. So if you ever see fabric that I'm using, it's Art Gallery. That just decides what I use. This is the line that I used for the videos. It's Art Gallery Fabrics Christmas in the Cabin. And then for the 2025 block of the month calendar, the day 1 videos, I used Ink Perfect and Indigo. And the day 2 videos, I used Art Gallery Fabrics Solids in white and blue. You're working on finishing up the 2 block of the month quilts you did for 2024. That's ambitious. I love that. I watched a YouTuber last year. They made her own advent calendar instead of ordering one. She ordered all the fabric she liked and opened 1 box a day. Kind of fun to watch. That is fun. So making your own advent. I think there's a whole, I don't know. I'm hoping that we're getting past it, but I know last year there were a lot of, I don't know if memes is the right word, but there was a lot of talk about specifically moms who on Christmas morning, their stocking is empty. Like no one is making Christmas magic for them. And I think a lot of quilters are in that position where quilters are the ones making Christmas magic for others. The number of quilters I know who have gifted dozens of quilts and never been gifted a quilt. My husband's auntie is a quilter, and I don't know, like we have several quilts of hers, and I gifted her a quilt, and it was the first quilt she'd ever been gifted. So I think quilters make a lot of magic for other folks, and sometimes people assume that because we're making so much magic, we have so much magic in our pockets, and we sometimes get left out in the having magic made for us department. And so that's why I like making the advent calendars and why it's so important for me that they be affordable so that quilters feel good about splurging on themselves just a little bit. It's not a huge splurge. It's not like oh my gosh, I was looking at advent calendars. There are $300 advent calendars, y'all, for quilters, which is amazing. And that is a huge splurge, but not everyone can splurge. Like even $80 is a big splurge for a lot of folks. So a $300 advent calendar is, when you don't know what's in it and you don't know if you're going to like it, I don't know. That feels risky. But anyway, so yeah, quilters are the ones often making the magic. And so to be able to make some magic where the quilters don't know exactly what's in each day, and they get to join in, and there's a video where they get to hang out, and we get to hang out together and make it. That's super fun. I don't speak Spanish. ¿Qué es lo que está haciendo? Don't understand. What is the what? I don't know haciendo. My Spanish is very little. Sorry, Lisbeth. Oh my goodness. We have been on for almost half an hour, and I'm finally just about through one color. And there's 8. So that means that folding these is going to be about 4 hours of folding fabric just to get through this stack right here. And this stack is even bigger. These ones don't have to be trimmed out of fat quarters. Although I guess I did trim these up. I was trimming these into fat quarters as well. So hopefully it won't be quite 4 hours. But we're probably, I mean, I'm not going to be live for 3 hours. That's a long live. I don't know that I can talk for that long. I can talk a lot, but that's a lot of talking. That's a lot of talking. No thank you. We'll sit here, we'll go through one more. Because I just got through 1 of 8. So if I get through 2 of 8 of them with y'all, I'll be through a quarter of it. And then I'll just keep going. Probably with like some Netflix or an audiobook in the background. Super fun. Okay. So we're going to keep folding fat quarters. For those of you popping in, let me know where you're popping in from, what you're working on this weekend. Are you sewing? Have you been sewing? Are you working on projects for the holidays? I didn't sew yesterday because I was making the advents, assembling advents, but I did sew I guess that was Friday, and I was working on binding quilts for the upcoming book, which will come out next fall, and I bound 6 quilts, which was a lot, 6 quilts in a day, although I did get a head start on a couple of them before, so but I didn't just bind them. I decided that because these quilts are for a book, and so they'll probably go to quilt shops to help promote the book, that they all needed sleeves and labels on them, because every quilt needs a label so that people know where the quilt came from, especially if you're gifting it or if it's going out to the world. But even if you're keeping it in your home, one day someone else may have that quilt and they might want to know who the maker was. So the things that we put on a quilt label are often like the name of the quilt or the quilt pattern, the maker of the quilt, when it was made, and the city it was made in. So these have my name and my city and October of 2024 because they were made last month. And then the names of the quilts so that they can get identified within the book and we know which ones they are. Hi, South Carolina. Hi, Green Acres. This fabric is Art Gallery Fabrics. It's part of their Christmas in the Cabin line. And if you can still find it, snag it while you can, because I went to go order a couple more bolts of it from Art Gallery Fabrics and they're not selling it anymore. It's done. It's out. They are out and they're not restocking it. So this is gone. It's done. So it says here, this is the salvage, Christmas in the Cabin. I don't know if that's reversed for y'all or not. But let me see. I'll see if there's a salvage that says the name of this exact print. Sometimes there's one that names the print. But this one, they had a really similar fabric for their Christmas in the City line, which was 2 years ago. And it was also super popular. I might still have a little bit of that one left because I didn't sell quite as many bundles that year. Every year it's more and more fabric around here. I agree. Gorgeous fabric. Hi, Arkansas. Mini Kim bags. I'm not familiar with Mini Kim bags. Hi, Nick. Welcome, welcome. So these bundles have already sold. There are 6 fat quarter bundles left of this fabric on my site. All right, there were, as of when I started this live, no, there were 12 because it was 6 half yards that I was cutting down. There were 12 fat quarter bundles left. And then after that, I'm pretty sure it's sold out. I'll be able to do a final count of the half yard bundles after those all get folded and assembled, because bolts sometimes have a little more or a little less. So I have to be a little careful. But if there are more than I anticipated of the half yards, I'll add those. But as of now, there were 12 fat quarter bundles and 0 half yard bundles that were still available. But that's what I'm folding, is I'm folding the fabric for these bundles. These bundles coordinate with the mini quilt advent calendar that I put together. There are still mini quilt advents available. We've been busy assembling those, and those will start shipping this week for the people who have already ordered them. And many people who ordered them also ordered them with the fabric bundle. So I've got to get the fabric bundles all bundled up to actually ship out with those advent calendars. So that's what I'm working on. That's today's goal, is to get as many of these fabric bundles bundled up as possible. Here we go. So if you love this fabric, if you love just this fabric, I don't sell fabric by the yard. So just, you want to look. This is from the Christmas in the Cabin line for Art Gallery Fabrics. There's the 2024 Christmas fabric. They have already shown sneak peeks. I don't know if it's on their site, but I've seen sneak peeks already of their 2025 fabric line. And Caterina Roccella, who did their fabric line, their Christmas fabric line last year, designed next year's Christmas fabric line, and it is also stunning. So I'm excited. They do Art Gallery, they do great fabric, and it's so fun to be folding these bundles because their fabric feels amazing. So I get to feel this fabric as I'm folding it. But they do really cute Christmas lines, and I only picked 8 of the fabrics from this year's Christmas line. They have more though. So I picked 8, and I was gonna say something else. Lost my train of thought as I'm sitting here folding really pretty fabric. But yeah, I cut it down to a mini bundle rather than the full line. And I feel like it makes it just a little bit more manageable. Although it's really hard to pare it down to just 8 because they have really cute fabrics. And they do a Christmas line, and then they always do Halloween lines every year, and their Halloween fabrics are also stinking adorable. So Christmas and Halloween, and then they also have lines all throughout the year as well. I'm trying to remember if they're doing a Valentine's line this year coming up. They've done Valentine's-y themed fabrics in the past, but I just love their fabrics, and they feel so good. The best way to describe it is it doesn't feel like it's legal for this to be cotton. So there we go. No apologies for questions. My website is carolinamoorepatterns.com. It should be linked to my YouTube. But no apologies for questions. Do I need to hand fold the entire stack of fabric? Yes. There isn't a machine. There might be a machine out there that folds fat quarters, maybe for like big companies. But mostly when you get folded fabric bundles, they've been hand folded by someone somewhere. And in this case, it's me hand folding all these fabric bundles and then assembling them. Yep. So this fabric, this is nearly 50 pieces of fabric times 8. So that's 400 fat quarters to fold. And then there's all of this in half yards that also needs to get folded. So I prefer half yards because it doesn't have to get cut down before it gets folded. So it's a little less work. And it doesn't get folded quite as small. So again, also a little less work. And then also they get to be sold for a little bit more money. So it's less work and more money, which is, always great. But I like offering fat quarter bundles because they're just such an affordable option. And not all of us have, unlimited fabric budgets. So fat quarters are a really great option to get a good size piece of fabric on a budget. Yep. And it feels like they might be done by machine, but in quilt shops, I worked in a quilt shop for several years, and we hand folded all our fat quarters. And there they had a tag gun, and they tag gunned all their fat quarters as well, so that you knew which shop they came from. Let's see. Are my kids too small for free labor? They're not too small for free labor, but also they didn't choose to have a parent who decided to start a company. So they should get to be like normal kids and have normal kid weekends, I think. One of them does work for me now, and he does get paid. So you know, learning to work. All of the, not all, but most of the quilt doodle pads, he stuffed those into bags. So there's lots and lots of manual labor in a quilting business to be done. Finishing a customer order baby quilt. Almost done with the top, and then need a long arm / binding for December 1st. Oh, I feel like you're on, I mean, you have a month. You have a month to quilt it and bind it. Do you have your own long arm, or are you going to long arm it yourself? Do you go to a place and rent a long arm, or do you send it to someone who to do long arming? I've done all. So I have a friend who I'll send stuff to that will long arm, and even though she's a friend, yes, it's her business, so yes, she gets paid. So I've sent stuff out for long arming. I've also rented long arms at quilt shops before, and then now I have a long arm. I've got a big baby lock ballad here in the office that is often running. I don't have a quilt on her right now. I should, but I didn't want to pause between folding fat quarters. I want to just get all these folded and done because it's a lot. As you can see, it's a lot, but I'll get through it eventually. It will just take some time. I think last year my mom came and helped me fold fat quarters. She did as well. Yeah. But at least the fabric feels really good. So I can't complain there. Not at all. I'm just about losing steam for chatting, so when we get to the bottom of this fabric, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. But so ask your questions now real quick if you have any questions. Ask them quick. I'll try to get them answered. But then I think I'm going to put in some earbuds. I have to figure out where I put them. I know I brought them in with me. And listen to probably an audiobook for a little while. I had some friends recommend some audiobooks, so I think I'm going to start in on one of those. And get some water. Make sure I stay hydrated. And keep folding away. One at a time. And eventually they all get done. My dad used to say, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So how do you fold a giant stack of fabric? One piece at a time. And eventually we get there. Nebraska is not that close, but help is always great. Susie, okay, your long arm is manual that you're just learning. I have the Pro Stitcher Lite for my long arm, so I've done some hand guided, but the Pro Stitcher Lite is, I'm a huge fan because I can just pick a design. I thought that I wouldn't love it as much. I love it. I just pick a design and let it do its thing. And then often I'm like prepping binding or binding another quilt while it's doing its thing. And I just make sure that so depending on where I'm sitting in my office, I prefer it when I'm sitting somewhere where I can easily look up and see if the thread is unspooling off of the spool on the back of the long arm. Because if the thread has stopped unspooling on the spool on the back of the long arm, that means that something's wrong. Either there's been a thread break or the bobbin ran out. Sometimes you can hear it, but I don't always hear it really well. Or sometimes I feel like I hear something weird and I look up and it's fine. So I like being able to easily see if that thread is still unspooling or not. And that lets me know if it needs my attention or not, because I don't want it to just keep quilting and not actually have thread in it, because that's not productive. All right, last one of this. Whew, and then I'm a quarter of the way through in about 45 minutes. So I guess it's about 15 minutes. It took me about 15 minutes to cut them, and then 15 minutes per fabric to get through about 50 of each. So, whew. All right. All right, friends, I think that's going to be it for today. Thanks for coming out and hanging out. I should be a good YouTuber and say, if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Subscribe. We're working to get to 100,000 subscribers, which is a really big deal for a quilting channel. So, and I hit 73,000. So I love it if you would hit that subscribe button. Thanks for hanging out with me for a bit on this beautiful Sunday here in San Diego. And I'll see y'all right here real soon. Bye for now, my friends.